All right, buckle up, everybody, because today we're diving deep into
Dude,
some seriously fascinating stuff.
I like it.
Two sources that offer some pretty mind-bending perspectives on life and death and the whole cosmic shebang.
Ooh, I like that.
We're looking at excerpts from the ancient Egyptian Book of the Dead
Classic.
and a more modern channel text called The Law of One.
Okay, so ancient and modern.
Yeah, kind of a cool contrast, right? So we've
Yeah.
got these ancient spells and prayers meant to guide souls through the Egyptian underworld on the one hand,
Right.
and on the other, this entity Ra, claiming to have been among those ancient Egyptians, offering insights into the nature of reality.
It's a captivating combination.
It really is.
Yeah.
Where do you want to start?
Well, let's start with the Egyptian Book of the Dead, I think.
Okay.
Because that's the kind of foundation here, right?
Right.
So, I mean, when you first read through it, what really struck you?
Yeah, just how intense
Yeah.
and challenging the journey through the underworld was for the ancient Egyptians.
Right.
It wasn't like a peaceful float into the afterlife or anything.
No, not at all.
It was like high stakes and,
Yeah.
and tests and
It's true. They describe these,
yeah.
fiery pits and monstrous guardians and all these judgment deities.
Yeah, it's like a cosmic obstacle course or something
Exactly.
with serious consequences.
Yes, very high stakes, yes.
Yeah.
But what's really interesting is that this whole journey wasn't just about these physical obstacles, like dodging fire.
Right.
It was about proving your worthiness on a spiritual level.
Yeah.
The deceased had to demonstrate their knowledge,
Their character.
their moral character
Yeah.
to progress.
It's like a cosmic report card or something.
It is, yeah.
Like, were you a good person? Were you honest?
Exactly.
Did you live a life in accordance with
Maat.
right with Maat?
Right, yeah, this principle of truth and justice and balance.
Yeah.
So that was huge.
So it's almost like it's not just about what you do.
Right?
It's about who you are.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it really gets to the heart of,
Yeah.
their beliefs about the nature of the soul and,
Right.
what survives death.
And those spells in the Book of the Dead.
Oh, yeah, the spells.
Like, those weren't just about escaping those obstacles, right?
No.
It's like they were about,
It's like gaining spiritual power.
yeah, almost like keys to unlock the next stage of the journey.
Exactly.
Some of the specific spells, I don't know, they were just really intriguing to me.
Oh, tell me.
Like, there's one for opening the deceased's eyes,
Uh-huh.
another one for unbinding their legs,
Oh, wow.
and even one for preventing their heart from being captive.
Oh, interesting.
It makes you wonder, like, what kind of dangers were they anticipating in the afterlife?
Right. Like, what were they so afraid of?
Yeah.
Well, it speaks to this whole belief in the ka,
Right.
which is, kind of like this.
It's like an ethereal double.
Yeah, like an a spiritual blueprint of the physical body.
Okay.
And this Khanite needed guidance and sustenance, protection to navigate the underworld.
So the spells were a way to make sure it was safe.
Yeah, to ensure its integrity of safe passage.
So
Exactly.
it's like you die,
Yeah.
but a part of you still needs help.
Yeah, it's like having a spiritual twin
Right.
that needs its own support system to thrive in the afterlife.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Those spells are pretty crucial.
crucial, yeah.
And the ultimate goal of this whole perilous journey, according to the Book of the Dead, was to become an Ak,
Ah, right.
this luminous being.
Who resides in the field of reeds,
Okay.
which is basically paradise,
Oh, okay, so that's the goal,
That's the goal, eternal bliss.
eternal bliss.
Right, yeah.
But it sounds like getting there is not a guarantee.
No, not at all.
There's that whole judgment thing.
Right.
And it's not just about, avoiding doing bad stuff.
Mhm.
It seems like honesty and truthfulness were really important.
Yeah, it's like your cosmic report card.
Right.
It's being evaluated.
Okay, so that's the ancient Egyptian perspective. Let's shift gears a little bit to the Law of One.
Okay.
I have to admit, when I first read that this entity, Ra, claims to have actually walked among the ancient Egyptian,
Walked among them.
that's a pretty bold statement.
It is, yeah.
I mean, are we talking like physically walked
Yeah,
or some other form?
it's not entirely clear from the text,
Okay.
but it definitely piques your interest, right?
Absolutely.
And while the Law of One doesn't directly talk about the Book of the Dead,
Right.
this claimed connection to ancient Egypt, it just adds this whole other dimension to our exploration. It's like these two sources are suddenly talking to each other across time.
Thousands of years.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me more about the Law of One itself.
Okay.
I know it delves into reincarnation,
Uh-huh.
but how does that concept connect to the Egyptian idea of the soul's journey through the underworld? Are they
Right.
talking about the same thing?
Well, it's not a one-to-one correspondence,
Okay.
but there are definitely some parallels, right?
Yeah.
So Ra describes this concept of densities.
Densities.
Yeah, which are basically different levels of spiritual evolution that souls progress through.
Okay.
It's not identical to the Egyptian underworld journey,
Okay.
but there are some similarities, wouldn't you say?
I would say yeah.
They both involve transformation, right?
Right.
Facing challenges and ultimately reaching a higher state of being.
Okay.
It's all about growth.
It is.
Yeah.
Densities, though. I mean, that
It
sounds...
is a bit complex.
Can you break that down a little bit more?
Yeah, sure.
What are these densities?
Well, think of them as levels of consciousness and understanding,
Like a...
levels of awareness.
Okay.
So we, as humans on Earth,
Yeah.
we're currently in third density, according to Ra.
Third density.
This is where we grapple with the choice between,
Uh,
service to others
yeah.
and service to self.
Right. We talked about that a little bit.
Yeah, and this is where we learn those fundamental lessons of love and compassion
Okay.
and, forgiveness, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So, and then Ra describes fourth density as
Right.
a realm of greater understanding,
Greater
that
understanding.
passion,
Okay.
where that awareness of unity
Uh-huh.
becomes more prominent.
So less ego-driven and more focused on the collective good.
Yeah, exactly.
It's interesting that choice between service to others and service to self.
Yeah,
It's almost like an echo of that moral judgment we were talking about in the Book of the Dead.
right. It's like
It all ties together,
it
both
does.
sources, even though they're so different in origin and perspective. They seem to acknowledge this
Mhm.
moral dimension to existence,
They do.
whether it's being judged by Osiris in the underworld
Right.
or consciously choosing a path of service to others or service to self.
Yeah.
There's this sense that our actions have consequences
Yes.
that reach far beyond
Far beyond our physical
our
lives.
physical lives.
Yeah.
And it's not just about morality, is it?
No.
The Law of One also talks about these energy centers
Yes, energy centers.
and how they play a role in spiritual development.
Exactly.
It reminded me of the Book of the Dead and its focus on the Ka and all its different components.
Right.
So are they talking about the same thing?
It's fascinating how both sources,
Yeah.
thousands of years apart,
Yeah.
point to this idea of a subtle energy system within us
Okay.
that's connected to our well-being, to our spiritual well-being.
Yeah.
And Rice suggests that by understanding and balancing these energy centers,
Okay.
we can achieve healing
Wow.
and even accelerate our spiritual growth.
Okay.
So it's like bridging ancient Egyptian wisdom with these modern esoteric teachings.
Wow, this is
Yeah.
a lot to take in.
It is a lot, isn't it?
It is. It is.
Yeah.
I'm already feeling like I need to go back and reread both of these sources with fresh eyes.
I know, right?
But before we
Yeah,
get totally lost in all this mind-blowing information,
right.
can we pause for a second
Sure.
and pull out some key takeaways for our listeners?
Yeah, that's a great idea, yeah.
Like, why should all this matter to them?
Well, if we start to connect the threads
Yeah.
between these two sources, what really stands out to me is this emphasis on knowledge and understanding.
Okay?
Both the ancient Egyptians and Ra seem to agree that knowledge is key.
For navigating the afterlife and for evolving spiritually.
Yeah, they for both, exactly.
It's like they're both saying this physical life, this human experience,
Yeah,
it's not the end game.
it's not the end, no.
It's a stepping stone.
It's like a stepping stone to something greater, something more profound.
Yeah, and that something greater is ultimately about connecting to the divine,
Yeah,
right?
however you conceive of it.
Right.
It's about recognizing this spiritual dimension to reality
Yeah,
that extends beyond what we can see and touch.
it's exciting.
It is exciting.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got this incredible foundation now,
Yeah,
but I'm already itching to delve into some of the specifics.
me too.
For example, that part in the Law of One where Ra claims to have been present during the building of the pyramids,
Oh, yeah.
that's just begging for further exploration.
Yes, definitely.
You said something about conscious stones?
Conscious stones, yeah.
I need to hear more about that.
We'll delve into that.
Okay, so for all of you listening, get ready for part 2,
Yeah.
where we'll unpack some of these intriguing details and see what other gems we can unearth from these fascinating texts.
Can't wait.
All right, we'll see you there.
See you then. Welcome back to our deep dive.
Okay, I'm ready for more.
All right, so last time we left off with that whole idea of Ra and the
The
pyramids
pyramids, yeah.
and conscious stones.
Conscious stones, I got to hear more about that.
Right, well,
What's the deal with that?
remember, Ra doesn't actually claim to have physically built the pyramids.
Okay.
It's more about this kind of connection, right?
Okay.
So the text describes Ra's presence as a form of what they call intelligent infinity.
Intelligent infinities.
Connecting with the intelligent infinity of the stones themselves.
Okay,
It's a challenging concept,
it is, yeah.
but it suggests that there's this form of consciousness within the very matter.
So it's not like little green men with construction tools.
No, 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 not at
More
all.
like an energetic imprint or something?
Yeah, like a transfer of consciousness.
So the pyramids weren't just piles of rock.
Right.
They were infused with this
Had a purpose.
energy, this purpose.
And it aligns with what we know about the ancient Egyptians' beliefs, that
Yeah.
they believed in the power of symbols and rituals
To shape reality.
to shape reality. Exactly.
It makes you wonder if we've lost something along the way
Yeah.
with our modern architecture.
All right.
But okay, back to Ra for a second.
Yeah.
If we consider this claim
Yeah.
of actually having incarnated in ancient Egypt,
Yeah. Yeah.
that just adds a whole other layer of intrigue to this connection with the pyramids.
Indeed. Yeah.
It's like, were they involved in their creation?
It suggests a very deep connection.
Makes you want to book a flight to Egypt right now.
I know, me too.
Okay, but before we get too carried away, I want to circle back to
Yeah.
those densities of consciousness.
Okay.
We touched on the idea that we're currently in third density, right?
Third density, yeah.
Grappling with that whole service to others versus service to self thing.
Right, exactly.
But what about those higher densities?
What do those look like?
Yeah.
What can we learn about those?
Yeah.
Well, Ra describes fourth density as this realm of amplified love and understanding,
Okay.
where those lessons learned in third density about compassion and unity, they become more fully realized.
Okay.
So the text suggests that in fourth density, the awareness of the interconnectedness of all things.
Less ego, more unity.
Yeah, individuals begin to function more harmoniously as a collective.
That sounds pretty utopian.
It does, doesn't it?
But how do we get there?
Right.
Is it just about being a good person?
Well, it's not quite that simple, although
Okay.
our actions and intentions do have consequences, as we discussed earlier.
Yeah.
Ra emphasizes the importance of
Okay.
consciously seeking to understand and align with the law of one,
The law of one, which is
basically the principle of unity.
okay,
It's about recognizing that we're all interconnected.
and active in accordance with that understanding. So it's not
Exactly.
just about actions. It's about a fundamental shift
Yeah.
in how we see ourselves
Yeah,
and our place in the universe.
absolutely, yeah.
And that requires a willingness to really examine our motivations,
Right.
identify and release those limiting beliefs that we all have.
And consciously choose thoughts and actions
Okay.
that promote harmony and understanding.
That sounds like a lifelong practice.
It is. It's a journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about those even higher densities?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Does Rods give us any glimpses into what those levels of consciousness entail?
Well, the text describes fifth density as the density of wisdom,
Wisdom.
where individuals have this really profound understanding of the universe
Okay.
and their place within it.
So they've mastered the lessons.
They've mastered the lessons of compassion and service,
Okay.
and they often act as guides.
Like spiritual mentors.
Yeah, helping others along their own journeys.
It reminds me of those ascended masters.
Right.
You hear about in different traditions.
There are definitely some parallels there.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting is that Ra doesn't present these higher densities as like endpoints.
It's not like you reach level 5 and you're done.
No, not at all.
Okay.
It's this continuous evolution.
So always striving for deeper understanding.
Yeah, and greater service to the Creator.
That's a pretty inspiring vision of spiritual growth.
It is.
But I want to bring it back down to Earth for a second.
Okay.
If we're currently in third density, and as you mentioned earlier, our planet is transitioning to fourth,
Mm-hmm.
what does that actually look like?
Right.
Are we going to wake up one morning and everybody's going to be enlightened?
I wish it were that easy.
Yeah.
But Ra describes this transition as a somewhat difficult harvest.
A difficult harvest, okay?
Basically, it's a time of increased catalyst, intense challenges and opportunities.
So not exactly a walk in the park.
No.
Okay.
But these challenges are designed to push us,
Towards making a choice.
towards making a choice, yeah, service to others or service to self.
It's almost like a cosmic sorting hat or something.
In a way, yeah.
Determining who moves on to the next level.
But the choice ultimately rests with each individual.
Okay, so we have free will.
Yes. Always.
But this difficult harvest,
Yeah.
it makes me wonder what the future holds.
I know, it's a bit daunting, isn't it?
Are we talking global catastrophes?
Right.
Alien invasion?
Ra suggests that those planetary challenges we're seeing,
Yeah.
they're more like a symptom of this transition.
Okay, so not the cause.
Not the cause, but a symptom.
Interesting.
It's like the collective energy of
Yeah.
fear and disharmony. It's manifesting in these external events.
So the real challenge is internal.
The real challenge lies in navigating these times with
Okay.
compassion and wisdom.
So it's not about escaping to some blissful higher dimension.
No.
It's about learning to embody love and unity Right here, right now.
right here, right now, amidst the chaos.
That's a tall order.
It is a challenging path,
Right.
but Ra suggests that we're not alone in this process.
Okay, there's help.
There's this, what they call a confederation of planets,
A confederation of planets.
which includes beings from higher densities.
Like a cosmic support team.
Yeah, and they're dedicated to helping those who are on the path of service to others.
Okay, so not everyone gets this help.
They operate within the constraints of free will,
Okay.
so they can offer guidance and support.
But ultimately...
The choices are ours to make.
Okay, so we've got conscious stones, a cosmic sorting hat, and a galactic support team.
It's a lot, isn't it?
It's a lot. We need a moment to process all this.
I think we all do.
What stands out to you the most from all this?
Honestly, it's that idea of choice.
Choice, yeah.
It's not just some abstract philosophical concept.
Right.
It's a choice we're making every single day.
In every interaction.
In every thought we have.
Yeah.
And what's fascinating is that both sources, even though they come from such different places, they both seem to say that choice is central
to our evolution.
to our evolution, yes.
So if our choices are so crucial,
yeah.
what does that mean for us as we move forward?
That's the big question, isn't it?
It is.
Especially with all the challenges we're facing in the world right now.
It's easy to feel overwhelmed.
I know.
Where do we even begin to apply these teachings?
That's what we're going to explore in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
The Law of One offers some really specific guidance on how to navigate these challenging times.
Okay, well, for every listening, get ready for part 3.
Yes.
We're going to delve into those practical applications of the Law of One
And see what wisdom we can glean from these ancient and modern sources.
to help us navigate these crazy times.
I think we can all use a little wisdom right now.
I think so, too. Okay, so we're back for the final part of our deep dive into the Egyptian Book of the Dead and the Law of One.
Lots to unpack, right?
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground.
From the underworld to those crazy densities of consciousness.
Okay, so now really curious about the more practical stuff.
The practical applications.
Yeah, like what does the Law of One actually say about how we can apply all this to our lives?
Right. Well, that's where it gets interesting.
Okay.
So the Law of One offers some really specific guidance
Okay.
on how we can actually accelerate our spiritual growth.
Okay, lay it on me.
It all starts with understanding the power of our thoughts and emotions.
Okay, so not just thinking happy thoughts.
Not quite. It's more about becoming aware of the quality of our thoughts and emotions.
Okay.
And learning to align them with love and compassion.
Love and compassion, okay.
Ra talks about this as seeking the heart of self.
The heart of
Which is
self.
essentially our connection to the
The
creative.
source of everything.
Exactly.
Okay, so how do we actually do that?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, right?
It is.
Meditation is definitely one of the tools.
Okay.
Ra recommends, and the text actually provides some techniques
Okay.
for deepening our practice.
Okay, so is that the only way?
Not necessarily, no.
Yeah.
Ra emphasizes the importance of mindful awareness
Okay.
in our everyday lives, too.
So like paying attention to our thoughts and reactions.
Yeah, and motivations in every moment.
So it's about bringing that level of awareness to our inner world.
Precisely.
Okay. I can see how that would be helpful.
Yeah, and Ra even encourages us to see challenges,
As offered
to learn and grow.
Exactly.
It's all about perspective, isn't it?
It really is, yeah. But it's not about denying our emotions or pretending that everything's perfect, right?
Right. Ra acknowledges that we experience a range of emotions.
Yeah, life messy.
It is.
So how do we deal with that then?
Well, the key is to observe them without judgment.
Without judgment, okay.
And try to understand the underlying cause.
Okay, the root of the problem.
Yeah, the root of the distortion, as they call it.
It reminds me of what we talked about earlier about energy centers.
Oh, yeah.
Does the Law of One offer any guidance on that?
It does. It does. Ra describes these energy centers as
Okay.
pathways for the flow of energy in our being.
Okay.
And they give some really detailed info
Okay.
about their function
Uh-huh.
and potential blockages.
So are we talking about chakras here?
It's definitely related, yeah. But Ra offers a more universal understanding.
Okay.
Less about labels, more about the energetic function.
So how do we balance these energy centers then?
Well, Ra says conscious intention and visualization are key.
So like we can use our minds to influence our energy.
Exactly, and they even offer specific visualizations for each center.
Wow.
Designed to clear those blockages.
That's pretty amazing.
It is, and it's all about regular practice and a sincere desire to serve.
Service, again, it's a common thread here.
It is, and Ra presents service to others as the most efficient path to evolution.
Okay, so it's not just about meditating in a cave somewhere.
No, it's about recognizing the interconnectedness of all beings.
Okay, so how do we do that in a practical sense?
Well, by acting in ways that promote harmony and understanding.
Okay, so engaging with the world in a more conscious way.
Yeah, and in doing so, we accelerate our own growth.
And help everyone else too.
Exactly, it's a win-win.
I like it.
And as we move through this transition to fourth density,
The difficult hardest.
yeah, that one, our choices become even more crucial.
Okay, so we're not just along for the ride.
No, we're active participants, co-creators of reality.
That's a lot of responsibility.
It is
Well, that about wraps up our deep dives.
into the mysteries of life and death.
The Egyptian Book of the Dead and the Law of One.
Two incredible sources.
Offering some timeless wisdom.
And a glimpse into the vastness of existence.
And for everyone listening, remember, this journey of discovery doesn't end here.
Keep exploring, keep questioning.
And keep diving deep.
Until next time.